here we are in our very last units in Algebra 2 Trig, Statistics and Probability. So if you would please open your Inspire document called Measures of Central Tendency, we'll get started. Go to page 1-2. Just a definition of statistics. Statistics is the science that deals with the collection, organization, and interpretation of data. Once you've collected data, it's useful to represent it by some value that can represent all of it. One of our measures is called the measure of central tendency. Think about what that means. Numbers that tend to be in the center or the middle of a group of data. Let's go into page 1-3. One of our measures of central tendency is the mean. You know what mean is. It's the most common measure of central tendency. It is the sum of all the data values divided by the number of data values. It's an average. You've been doing that for a long time. I give you an example. 9 members of the basketball team played during all or part of the last game. There are the points they scored. Find the mean number of points scored. So add those numbers up, divide by 9. That will be your sum. I'll give you an answer next. On page 1-4, our second measure of central tendency is the median. The median is the middle number of a data set after the data has been arranged in order. It can be high to low, low to high, but they have to be in order. So again, we've done median a lot before. Here are 2 quick examples. The first example, find the median number of points scored by that basketball team from the last problem. Well, fortunately, for the sake of time, I've already ordered these numbers for you. They go in descending order from high to low. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 numbers, so the middle number is the 5th number. So in this case, the median is 8. There are 4 numbers above it, 4 numbers below it. The middle number is the 5th number. In example 2, I have a different set of data. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 values in it. So the median is in here somewhere between 7 and 11. So when you have an even number of numbers in your data, you have to take the average of the middle 2 numbers to find the median. So the average of 7 and 11, 7 plus 11 is 18, divided by 2 is 9. So here, the mode is the third measure of central tendency. Again, you've used these before. The mode is the value, or values that occur most often in a set of data. Mode is, we kind of have to lie to you about mode in Algebra 2 Trig. When you take statistics, either in high school or college, the full course, you'll learn the truth about mode. But for now, we can't handle the truth, so we just do this. All right, so for example 1, the mode of that data set, you glance through, see which number occurs most often, and it's 6. There are 4 6s. In the second example, there are 4 5s, 4 6s, 2 7s, and 2 8s. So there are 2 modes. It's bimodal. The modes are 5 and 6. And in the third example, when I scan through these test grades, there is no number that occurs most often. So there is no mode. So these are just 3 nice examples of 1 mode, unimodal, 2 modes, bimodal, and sometimes there's no mode, non-modal. All right, page 1-6. Quartiles. Again, you probably haven't done these since middle school, but you have dealt with quartiles before. Quartiles separate data into 4 equal parts. Think about what quarter means. When you cut something in quarters, you cut it into 4 equal parts. So again, we arrange our data in order, and then we divide it into 4 equal parts. To finish this example, I'm going to go to your video guided notes to show you the process in finding quartiles by hand. So to find quartiles by hand, you make sure your data is in order, and here it is for you on your lab packet. Count up the number of values in your data set. For this particular one, we have 20. So we need to find quarters. Let's first cut it in half. When I cut my data in half, I have 10 on either side. So then I take each 10 and cut them in half. First, I can label my median. It's halfway between 81 and 83, which is 82. And then I take the lower 10, cut them in half, and I take the upper 10, cut them in half, and essentially find the median of each half. The upper quartile is the last median, the third quartile. The lower quartile is the first. And again, just like any median, sometimes you need to average them. On page 1.7, we talk about box and whisker plots. Again, review from previous courses. It's a diagram used to display the 5-number summary. Well, the 5-number summary is the lowest value, the lower quartile, the median, the upper quartile, and the maximum value. So again, we can do that with a big set of data. What I want to show you, because you're advanced or Algebra 2 students, is that there's really no need to do these by hand anymore. You're going to want to be able to use your Inspire. So anytime you're using your Inspire for something, you create a Lists and Spreadsheets page and enter your data accordingly. Now again, I gave you this data on paper so that you can not have to keep coming back to this page to figure out what your data set is. So you have your data in front of you. Add a page, Control Doc, Lists and Spreadsheets, give it a name. I think I said that these are heights, and enter your data. Not going to. When you're done entering your data, notice that here I'm on 19, row 19. Go back and count and make sure that there were 19 data values so you didn't miss any or double any. Otherwise your results won't be accurate. After you've entered the data into a Lists and Spreadsheets page, add a page. It's a calculator. Go to Menu. We're doing statistics, and we're calculating some statistics. We have one variable. Our one variable is heights. So choose one variable. I have one list of data. Sometimes you could have so much that there'd be numerous lists. The name of my list was heights, and that's my only choice. It's the only thing I have in this document. You can skip everything else for now. And you're given a bunch of symbols, and it's really important to be able to read what these mean. So let's go through them carefully. This X bar is the mean of that set of data, the mean height. You know what this means now, the sum of the data, all the numbers. Here's the sum of those numbers squared. You'll understand why later. We care about that. These are for a later day. N is the number of values in your data set, 19. The minimum value is 37. Lower quartile, quartile 1, 42. Median 45, quartile 3, 49, and maximum 53. So your 5-number summary is given to you right here in a stats calculation page. Sometimes it's faster to do it by hand, sometimes it's better to do it in the Inspire, that's your choice. But your Inspire, this is always available to you even in test mode. So there's the 5-number summary, you jot those values down, and then the question actually wants you to make a box and whisker plot. So let's add a data and statistics page. Now you come down here and click your variable name heights, and you get a dot plot, which is nice, but that's not what we want. We want a box and whisker plot. So if you choose Menu, Plot Type, you can choose Box Plot. Notice a lot of the choices aren't possible because these deal with different kinds of data. These deal with categorical data. We're dealing with qualitative or quantitative data. So we want a box plot right now. Choose Box Plot, and your points move into the box plot. As you hover over the parts, you can see the different labels from your 5-number summary. There's your lowest number, 37, quartile 1, 42, median 45, quartile 3, 49, and maximum value 53. So you need to copy this scale and an appropriate picture onto paper when you're asked to graph by hand. Okay, next page. Stem and leaf displays. Now this used to be page 1.8, keep in mind that I added pages for your notes. Are an effective way of organizing small sets of data. You don't want to do this with large sets of data because your calculator can't do it for you, so this is entirely done by hand. Here's an example of the heights of 20 different children. Notice they're not ordered, so stem and leaf displays are nice when it's a small data set and they're not in order and you want to get them in order quickly. We did these again sometime in middle school, and I'll show you this one real quickly before we move on. So the first thing you do with stem and leaf plots is to decide what your stems will be. I notice with this data I go from 40s to 70s, so my stem will be 10s. And then I just quickly go through each value and jot it down for my leaves or my leaves. There's no particular order yet. After I've gathered all my data, and notice how fast this is, then I go back and I put them in order for my final answer. So I'm just quickly gathering data, jotting down the leaf, the ones place of my data, very quickly, and that's the point, is that stem and leaf displays are fast in gathering data with small data sets, and then I put them in order from lowest to highest so people can read very nicely exactly what the data is. And once they're in order, you're done. That's it. Short, sweet, to the point with small data sets. Okay, moving to our second problem, page 2.1. You need to understand that most statistical studies that are real have huge data sets. So we aren't going to want to list each individual value. We're going to use frequency tables. Going to page 2.2. A frequency distribution table records the individual data values and the frequency or number of times that data value occurs in the set. And I give you a data table or a spreadsheet on the next page, and we're going to find the mean, median, mode, and sample size of that data set. So if you look at page 2.3, just scan through, you can see I have X. I called it EX because if I just used the letter X, it would be reserved and it wouldn't work. And I used EF for frequency. So there are 6 number 5s, 10 number 4s, 15 number 3s, 11 number 2s, 2 number 1s, and 1 0 in my data set. So you could certainly find mean, median, mode, and the number of values in your data set by hand. But again, your Inspire will do this for you. So let's add a calculator page. And we're going to go back to our menu, statistics, stat calculations, one variable statistics. Okay. My numbers, my variables themselves, the X's are really in one list called X. But here I changed my frequency list. My frequency of each of those values is in my F list. I don't have a category list to include. Click OK. And here we go. In that data, the mean data value is 3.08889. There were 45 numbers in it. The smallest was 0, the biggest was 5. Lower quartile, median, upper quartile. And you're all set. So really the big deal is to learn to use your Inspire appropriately. In the next page, we talk about when we don't know specific values, so what we use is a range of values. So if the number of values is so large to list each one individually, we list the data in terms of a range or an interval of data values rather than in terms of all the individual ones. So on 2.6 you can see that we did that.